Come. Hey guys, so I'm gonna explain to you something here. What happens is that we have a no-hole case on a Datejust, okay? We have it here. Now what we're trying to do is to replace the crown. But what happened is that on this side we have a regular push pin. See that the little pin, the way it's made? The little notch here allows us to push the push pin in and out of the hole right here, okay? And in this case what they did is that on this end it had the correct push pin, but on this end it's the wrong one for the no hole cases. So what I'm gonna do, and I did it many times in the past, is that I'm gonna cut through the pin itself, and we're gonna remove the whole push pin. Even if we try with all the tools in the world, nothing is gonna come out of there. So as you see, we're gonna pry the edge between the end link and the case itself, and I'm gonna use a hammer. You have to be careful not to push too hard. You can damage the movement, you can damage the dial, the loom on the hands. So what we're gonna try to do is just pry it in there and give a few taps with the hammer. It's gonna break the little push pin, and we're gonna be able to remove the bracelet to actually change the crown, and afterwards we're gonna have to replace the push pin as well. There you go. So now we felt the breakage. As you can see right now, we're gonna be pulling out the pin. And as you see, it's the wrong type of pin. It went all the way into the hole of the case, so there was no way I could have grabbed here to actually get it out. End link, as you can tell, is still pretty good. There was a little bit of touch-ups here that we need to do, but otherwise it's good. The case is also good, so I didn't touch the case, which is the most important part of the watch. We don't want to damage the cases. But end link is going to be $150 to $200 worst case scenario, but in this case it's going to be very important to actually save the case without making any notches into the sides here. So the end link is good. It made a little notch here, but we're gonna slightly remove it with a file. And now we're gonna open the watch and actually replace the famous crown. I did it a bit in between customers and in between phone calls, and I'm just showing you what I'm doing on a daily basis. So a lot of people don't want to touch those. I like to do that just because I learn a lot and I get to see what people are buying. So not only for me but also for my customers. That's every day. Also, my days don't start at noon, don't end at 5. Most of my days start at 6, 7, 8 a.m. By emails, even phone calls. I have people calling me from overseas and they don't realize there's 5, 8, 12 hours, 15 hours difference. As expected here, we have a 31-35 movement. It's in as found condition basically, so the watch will most probably need a polish of some sort in the future, and it will need a bit of attention in the future, as well as most probably a little service. But otherwise it's a good watch. Movement looks pretty clean. Just again, like it's been sitting like this for quite a while. So let's see here. What we're doing is that we're pushing on the release. The crown comes out, the tube comes out, and let me find the crown thread. I'm trying my best to answer to make things right. And I do understand that a lot of people are very eager to get their pieces, so sometimes, you know, it takes a bit more time to service a watch or whatnot. I'm always there to help with a transaction ASAP. And also at night, I still have people that are calling me and tell me, hey, I don't have the time to come and see you today. Can you reserve me a watch for tomorrow, or can I see you tomorrow? And most of the time I try to accommodate people as much as I can. Once again, there you go. We have one right here. As you see, the crown was faulty, now it screws in. Also, I wanted to address the fact that we're trying more and more to do vlogs. If you guys enjoy that, please let me know. Yeah, I'm just doing the crown replacement, not servicing the watch, we're not making it better, we're just avoiding any future crown damage or internal damage by just securing the crown in place and not having any water or dust going into the watch itself. A little surprise here, the crown is pretty worn, so the hexagon inside is slipping. So let me find another one. I'm trying to do more educational videos as well. If you do have something that you really enjoy talking about or me talking about, I'll try to share my experiences with those. Again, it's all about watches, it's all about life experiences. As you see now, this one doesn't slip, so it does give a bit of a resistance. That's what we want to see. And then once we put it back in, okay, now it clicked, we push it in, see that it screws in, and there you go. Now it's actually gonna work, and it's gonna secure the watch from having a broken stem or actually breaking the crown because it was loose on the watch. Now it's ready to go to a service. So now we're gonna do the crystal. So what happens is that the crystals for those are quite expensive. They're really hard to get actually. If you wanna order them, they're about $300 to $400 Canadian, so calculate maybe $250 to $325 US for one single crystal. Again, when you want to save a bit of money, I wouldn't do it on vintage pieces because the vintage pieces, especially the sports ones, are not looking very well when you don't have the original crystals, except maybe there's a few guys out there that are doing like Superdome or a few other guys that are doing some crazy crystals that are really good and they're really resistant, very elastic, so they can work, and even if you ding it, it's not gonna crack. Whereas when we're talking about sapphire, sadly we don't have access to all the parts. So what I'm trying to do here is that we're trying to actually replace them, and last resort, in this case I was asked to do it, so we're gonna use an aftermarket one. Okay, it's not what I prefer, but again, they work. I've tried them many times and they do a good job. Again, they're about $50 US. If you don't want to spend $300, I understand it's a lot of money, especially for a crystal, but that's all we can find on the secondary market. Yeah, we're gonna do it right now. In this case, we're also gonna do a bit of a cleaning of the case. We have no choice, so I'm only gonna remove the bezel. I'm gonna do a bit of a cleaning, and then we're just gonna avoid putting water basically in the movement. Normally I do it when the case is empty, but in this case I'm just gonna keep it as is. Lately I see that it's really a lack of time and a lack of effort from people to actually go more in depth with watches. If you want to listen to me while you're driving or while you're doing your chores, you can always connect to the YouTube channel. And I'd say if there's something really specific, okay, we're talking, what do you think about certain watches or certain size watches or certain calibers from that era? If I don't know about it, obviously I don't know about everything, I'll do my research, I'll try to expose that from my point of view. Again, I'm very versed into the vintage, to the modern world as well, but I don't do as much lately. So I'd say I can do my research and I can do my my job according to what goes as well with the inventory that comes through as well. I don't always choose what comes through. I have to buy collections, I have to buy all sorts of different things. So my everyday is not just buying what I'm choosing to buy. Okay, I do have suppliers that offer me tens of different watches on a daily basis, and I make offers on each one of them. I don't leave anything behind, and again, sometimes I find myself buying stuff that I may not have liked buying, but again, it's something that I also enjoy because it just gives me the thrill of having something new and also something to learn about. So it might be detrimental to my business. Every time I buy a watch that didn't really belong to what I really wanted to buy, it's always a bit of a challenge to actually not only know about it, but also to sell it, to actually present it correctly. I don't want people to think that I'm buying everything and anything. It's not the case. Anyone could buy anything and everything at a certain price if you know you're still gonna make money at the end of the day. But it's not only about that. It's also the fact that, you know, I'm gonna buy watches for the thrill of it, for the fact that I really like them, but also the fact that I've never had something and I really enjoy sharing that with people. So if you want to have a look, it's all around the crystal right now. It's pretty clean. Obviously we would need to, we're gonna use a Q-tip and remove all the little gunk that's still there to make a perfect seal. We don't want to install it 5 times, we just want to do it once. We're gonna do it properly. Also, I just got, I know I got something super cool incoming. I'm not gonna share pictures yet. There's no point. I'm gonna get that watch, I believe, in about 2 weeks. That is a Mito center chrono, and it's a really cool one. I believe I haven't seen really good pictures of it. I do have a bit of an idea of what it is and how it is, but it's a really cool one. It's a brown dial with double signature on the dial, unpolished case with the original crown, original pushers, and it's really gorgeous. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to avoid touching the crystal from the inside. We want to keep our fingerprints outside of that, otherwise we're gonna end up cleaning for 5 minutes. I've never had one in the past, and the one I have is basically, if you want to call this, almost pièce unique, almost one of one in the vintage world. So I do enjoy those as well, but again, it's not for everyone. It's not something that people are necessarily gonna enjoy if it's your first watch, for example. It's something that's maybe a bit more advanced for someone who already has maybe 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 watches or more, and it's something that people are gonna enjoy just because they understand how rare that is, how unique it is. As you see now, there's a whole difference. The Teflon gasket as well is much wider than the other one. The other one, as you can see side by side, it tends to yellow. As soon as it's kind of yellow like this, it's not really good anymore. Has the tendency of cracking, especially if you put a bit of pressure on the crystal or sideways. It might eventually even crack by itself, so it's never really good to keep those around. What's left to do is basically clean the bezel, just because there's still a bit of dirt. That's what I'm all about. It's all about, yes, you do the mainstream stuff. Yes, you do also more unpleasant, less desirable pieces, in my opinion. I'm still gonna, it's still a business. It's still there to make a bit of money, whatever, that's fine. But it's also about finding those cool pieces that are still quite affordable. See, now it's pretty tight, and we're gonna just use the press and just install it back. It's kind of normal that it sits on the Teflon like that at the beginning. If you're comparing, for example, a Paul Newman that's worth, a couple of $100,000 US or more in pretty good condition, with something like this that's most probably a lot more rare, just makes it so much more cool to own and to share it with people. As you see, this is a hold on, this is a 31mm. Okay, so you see with the Teflon, we just want to press just enough on the bezel, really close to the crystal, and keep it really high. We don't want to force the bezel from the outside. It's gonna create warps, and we can actually damage the bezel itself. So that's exactly what we want to do. I hope you enjoy that. I hope you enjoy me doing a bit of work on certain watches. Again, I'm not a watchmaker. I'm just prepping the watches prior to the servicing of my watchmaker. So it just does look a lot better with a new crystal. Also, the fact that the whole Teflon was so yellowed, it just makes the watch look older. It doesn't give it as much of a good look. Again, depends who are your suppliers for those. I'd say there's a few of them out there that are doing a good job for those crystals, but in general I wouldn't do it on sports models. On sports models, they're worth a lot more. It's worth spending the $300-400 if you crack the crystal and replacing it with the original one. I wouldn't do it on something like that. A 5-digit on a 5-digit might represent almost 10% of the value. The fact that we're replacing the crystal with an original one, unless you really want to do it, I'd suggest not to. But otherwise, it's really up to you when it comes to those. Now we found as well, before we finish off, the second part of the famous bracelet. So this one also has had some, the rivets here have been replaced, and there's soldering, like little dots here that are overlapping. It's not very pretty. It can be redone, so a good watchmaker or a good jeweler can do it. Now we're just gonna put proper push pins that have an elbow right here, so you're able basically to open the watch to open the bracelet, take it off without the need of cutting it through like we just did a few minutes ago. I do have a bit of fun dabbling into that, learning how to dismantle a whole movement. I'm still learning. Again, that would be the first part, to not damage everything, and I never try to or did really do any damage on those movements usually. So I think maybe once or twice I lost, I think maybe a little screw that was damaged or something like that, but usually I'm pretty good. It's in this case we checked the end link earlier. Now I just realized it's a bit opened up with the fact that we kind of forced it. So no real damage here. We just need to actually give it back to give him a little bit of a curve, the original curve that was there. It's a challenge for me to actually learn something new every day, and I put you to the challenge as well to actually learn something. If you want to share about that with us, I'm here. I'm gonna be at the store. If you're in town, if you're in Montreal, pass by, say hi. I'm always here from Monday to Saturday, and I'm always here to actually take the time, if I'm not too busy, and talk about watches and talk about, you know, life experiences and share them with people. Just want everything to sit properly, sit tight. We don't want to see any gaps. Right here, so perfect. There you go. So now you see that I was able to remove it easily. It's the proper push pins, and now it sits properly as well in its place. Always expect a bit of play, it's normal, depending on push pins as well. Sometimes just a 0.1, 0.2 millimeters is gonna make a huge difference in the way the end links are sitting. But for now, it's just ready to go to any watchmaker and prepare it, prepare the movement, change the gaskets, and make it right. So I thank you guys for watching. Hope this helps. Hope it gives you a bit of an idea of what we're doing every day. So it's part of the job. Thank you guys. Have a good one.